The Democratic Republic of Congo is home to the world's second largest rainforest, but this rainforest is in danger. Every year, DRC loses 500,000 hectares of its forest. That's partly because people are cutting down trees to produce charcoal, but there could be a solution to the massive deforestation.
Matonge, a crowded neighborhood in Kinshasa, the capital of DRC. Shilu Shibabwa runs one of the city's many street restaurants. She depends on charcoal made from wood to prepare food and heat water. She says she doesn't have a choice.
You see, charcoal is really good because electricity isn't stable. And if there isn't any electricity at all, how can you cook?
Nearly 9 out of 10 people in DRC rely on wood charcoal or firewood as their main fuel supply. Kinshasa is one of Africa's biggest cities. People here burn through more than 2 million tons of charcoal each year. The ecological price of using so much charcoal is enormous. This forest just outside of Kinshasa is part of the Congo Basin rainforest. It's the second largest rainforest in the world. But trees here are being felled indiscriminately to feed the lucrative charcoal market. This is one potential alternative to the mostly illegal felling. Several farming communities here are planting fast-growing acacia trees on the plateau Beteke, a vast savanna that starts just east of Kinshasa. Benjamin Kakenza is a deputy coordinator of NCO project, which is funded by the European Union. The idea behind the project is to create a sustainable supply of wood to turn into charcoal.
People practicing agroforestry are doing it in a sustainable way. They themselves plant the trees, operate their farms, and then cut the trees to create charcoal with their own trees. That's a full cycle. They plant, they exploit, they replant.
Kakenza is one of the 260 farmers now operating an acacia plantation as part of the project. Once the acacia trees become mature after around 8 years, they are cut down. The felled acacias are covered over and then slowly burnt to produce charcoal. Then, in place of the acacia, corn and cassava are planted and harvested. When the soil isn't fertile enough for the food crops, acacia is planted again. The non-native trees help replenish the soil with nitrogen, and the cycle of crop rotation begins again. The acacia plantations are a way of providing farmers with a source of income and preserving native forests, says Kakenza.
That's the solution. You leave the forest ecosystem in peace. We should create these kinds of projects across the whole country, and we will have solved the problem of deforestation.
Producing greener charcoal has its challenges. The NCO project needed millions of euros in startup funding and loads of scientific knowledge. Plus, in a neighbouring project, not all of the farmers wait 8 years for the trees to mature and sometimes cut the trees down earlier. Back in Kinshasa, the market for charcoal is expected to keep booming as the city rapidly expands. But charcoal from primary forests isn't just bad for the environment, it's also bad for people. Smoke from charcoal fires can cause serious illnesses like lung cancer and heart disease. That means, in the longer term, to protect its citizens and its forests, DR Congo needs to invest in alternatives like hydroelectricity or gas.
Joining me now is Mary Jenga. She's a scientist at the Center for International Forestry Research and World Agroforestry in Nairobi. Hello, Mary. Now, across Africa, trees that grow quickly are being planted more to be used as charcoal. Is that a good way to tackle deforestation and make charcoal greener?
Yes. Growing trees for charcoal is the way to go. Growing trees enhances tree cover. And growing trees for charcoal reduces deforestation and land degradation. And these trees, as they grow for charcoal, they have other multiple benefits.
I mean, a lot of your research is based on that, sustainable charcoal. Tell us more about how to achieve that.
Making charcoal sustainable requires adopting a system approach. And this system approach has to ensure that wood for charcoal is produced sustainably. And then the wood is efficiently processed into charcoal, reducing wood wastage and emissions. That way, utilization of charcoal through ovens or cookstoves needs to be made very efficient to reduce wood wastage and also reduce indoor air pollution.
How do you make it efficient, though?
For example, in terms of efficient systems, we are working a lot with other stakeholders and farmers to ensure that the way they turn charcoal the way they turn wood into charcoal, they dry wood very efficiently. And then the private sector is also coming in to see how can they buy the biomass that farmers are growing and put it in a large-scale gasification system where we produce charcoal and gaseous energy is tapped into biomass electricity.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. Some say burning charcoal, whether sustainable or not, contributes to climate change. What's your response to that?
Burning charcoal in very efficient ways will reduce climate impact. It can happen this way. One, if we have a lot of growing trees for charcoal, we are building carbon sinks and we are enhancing the tree cover. And then if we adopt very efficient systems where we are reducing emissions during carbonization, then we reducing carbon into the air. And that way, then the ovens that are using charcoal, the cook stoves, to be made very efficient to reduce emissions and reduce fuel consumption.
Okay.
The whole system, if it's made very efficient and sustainable, we will then have climate-smart charcoal production and utilization, heading towards greener charcoal.
Mary Jenga, we're the Center for International Forestry Research and World Agroforestry in Nairobi. Thank you. Now to Tanzania, where the extensive deforestation of one island has been turned around. Located in Tanzania's Zanzibar Archipelago, the tiny island of Kokota measures only 1 square kilometer and is home to several hundred people. 2 decades ago, its trees all but disappeared, but Kokota's forests have now come back from the brink.
This is Kokota, an island in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Tanzania. Here, for a long time, the inhabitants thought their forest had disappeared forever. After decades of intense logging, there was nothing left. But the forest has returned, dense and lush. And it's all thanks to one man, Mbarok Musa Omar. He's currently delivering gifts to children on the island.
Hello!
And as always, it all starts with a song.
Okay.
Everyone, take trees from the boat and go out and plant them. Do you understand? Take 3 or 4. I don't bring them sweets or cakes. Trees are much more important, especially for the new generation here.
For more than 15 years now, Mbarok has been bringing trees to the people of Kokota. They take a short walk to the middle of the island to a clearing where they will be planting today.
You have to space them 1 meter apart from each other. Put them in the earth and then press down really hard. Check that the tree is straight. Then we're done. You can clap now.
It all started in 2005 when Mbaruk came to the island for the first time. He discovered a paradise on the brink of complete destruction. Not a single tree was left, and without their roots, rainwater was not staying in the soil. The temperature had risen, the wildlife had disappeared, the island was dying.
They cut slowly the forest there for house construction, for the boat construction, for the business activity. For example, like a different species of trees whereby it was here, but right now remains the story because you cannot find that.
Mbaruk decided to try and save Kokota. The former accountant started an NGO and applied for funding from the European Union and other organizations to reforest the island. But he didn't stop there. He organised solar panels and the construction of the island's first school. Today, some 600 people live on Kokota. Those who wanted to leave the island a few years ago have decided to stay. The quality of life here is now better than on other islands and villages in the region.